A little bit of a pregame show today. And we've got another emergency broadcast, folks. Another emergency broadcast and a partial intervention. So let's see if we can pull this up on the iPad so that we can keep on top of things here. And there we go. Tilley Hats. Tilley Hats. Tilley Hats. Made in China. Here's this one. What do you think about this one? This hat is made of hemp. This is made of hemp. And this one is made in Canada. For years, Tilley bragged about their hats made in Canada. Meticulous detail and how the artisans that work there, because they're Canadian, their attention to detail is amazing. And when you're buying a Tilley hat, you're getting all that hand quality and the attention to detail, and you're getting the best travel hat in the world, a Tilley hat. Now some of their models are made in China. Not all of them, but I don't like the trend. I don't like where things are headed here, folks. I don't like where things are headed. Look at the brass eyelets in this one. Solid brass eyelets. Let's look at the inside here. This is the Tilley hemp hat. The Tilley hemp hat. And I always put a little dark mark in here so I can know where the back of the hat is very quickly and easily when I put the hat on. But this one is the finest in all the world. Blah, blah, blah. And it says Canada. And it says, where does it say? Handcrafted with Canadian persnicketiness. Persnickety. They're persnickety people. Handcrafted. Here, let's take a close look here. Okay, in various languages they've got it in here. And this one is hemp. This one is hemp. I have about a half a dozen Tilley hats. And all of mine are made in Canada. Canada. So now they're making some of them in China. And they hide it a little bit on the website. They don't brag about it. I'm not surprised they don't. I'm not surprised they don't brag about that. I wouldn't brag about it either. Stig's in the house. Good evening. And our Wags is in the house. He's all over the place, making things happen, doing deals. Lance is in the house. He's a mover and shaker. And my sunglasses are a hat, says Tim Masso. Let's see, 0-2 on the bench, taking a break. Yeah, there's the 0-2 on the bench, but it's not really taking a break. Excuse me, look at that second hand. Look at that second hand moving along. 24/7, 365. 24/7, 365. The second hand is doing its thing. These glasses are filthy. You cannot keep plastic lenses clean. I hate plastic lenses. That was the other thing. You know, they came out with the damn plastic lenses some years ago. And it's hard as can be to get anything with glass lenses anymore. And the plastic are just nasty. And I don't care what breakthroughs they come out with and all this stuff. Glass lenses are a lot easier to clean, especially on sunglasses. So there's that. YouTube guy is viewing from the Philippines. I don't blame him. And so, okay, so we've got another issue. We've got a troll. All right, we've got a troll. Let me see if I can pull this up here. We will talk about this. Let me see what this is here real quick. Okay, good. Okay, so that's good news there. That's a client sending me a check. So that's always good. Let's see here. All right, so here's this guy. All right, so this guy's an idiot. Let me go in here. So we got an idiot alert on the channel. All right, and the reason that I hold on a second here. I'm going to pause this. It's going to try to play. The reason that I call some of these people out here is, and let me see, not to throw them under the bus and not to highlight the fact that they're a blithering idiot, but so that other people might be able to learn from their idiocy. Okay? So here's this guy, this guy, Dave Oppenkar, if that's his real name, and he doesn't even have a photograph with his, he just has the generic icon, right? So that's already a red flag, right? So it says, when did you get your medical degree, Craig? Comparing COVID-19 to the flu is showing your lack of knowledge on the subject. Stay on watches and close. A new unsubscriber. So he claims he unsubscribed from the channel, okay? So then I replied to him. I said, actually, for many, the flu is more dangerous, which is true. For young folks, the flu is more dangerous than this other thing, okay? So then we get a reply here from Sam, a different person chiming in, says, maybe you don't know what you're talking. Try to get tested. If you have flu, the result will be positive for COVID-19. So I don't know if that's true, but I wouldn't be surprised. So anyway, a little off topic. So Dave comes in and he says, still you're not a medical doctor. And Sam says, you're not a medical doctor. So I don't know if they're, oh, that's Dave twice. Okay, I'm sorry. Dave says twice in here. And he's referring to Sam. But anyway, these two idiots going back and forth. So then Sam says, you don't need a medical doctor to understand COVID-19. Okay, so I guess maybe Sam's taking my position a little bit. I don't know exactly what Sam's trying to do. But anyway, so Dave, I say to Dave, your point is, live, question marks, right? And then I say, live in fear if you wish. For me, life is too short for all that. And then Dave says, listen to medical professionals and be honest about the fact, checking the truth. Not really proper English there, but anyway, we'll let him slide on that. Then I said to him, in a situation like this, it's best to look at the data. Many of the, quote, experts and, quote, medical professionals have agendas. Follow the money. And then Dave says, I have fact-checked. I will agree to disagree with you. And then I said, doesn't matter because I'm correct. In other words, I don't care if he disagrees with me, right? I'm correct, and I'm always correct, which you guys all know that to be the truth. And then he says, no, you're not always correct. It's just your arrogance to admit you are something wrong. Again, not proper English, but maybe he wasn't educated. Then I replied to him, I said, you're wrong. Sorry about that. Exclamation point. So here's a guy that is, and of course, John Kennedy, he chimed in down here. He says, what a bore fest. And I replied to him and I said, correct. Right? That's the one thing honest in the whole exchange. But anyway, so this guy who's unsubscribed is taking all this time to chime in here in the chat and to troll a little bit. So here's the thing. As you know, on this channel, we don't really care. He can move on. There are hundreds of thousands of other channels on YouTube, by millions at this point. Maybe Lance can check and see how many channels there are on YouTube. It'd be interesting to know that information. I know there are probably billions of videos. I don't know how many channels there are on YouTube. Let's see. But I'll tell you what, this is one of the few that has Kyle hanging out. Kyle's in the house, and he says, hey, guys. R-Wag says, most people wear ball caps. Don't see too many people wearing other types around the Midwest. Kind of sad. Wide brim hats gives protection against the sun. Absolutely, and I need it because I do get little things that I need to have my dermatologist remove. little tiny little cancer things. Not so far, nothing malignant, thank God, but I've had some things that I've had to have removed. Matter of fact, I have a thing on the back of my neck right now that I might have to have removed. Because unfortunately, I still do spend time in the sun, and so yeah, there's that whole deal. Let's see, fellas in the house. Craig, I've been absent because I've been so in motion. Good thing. Be in motion, be doing deals. Absolutely. I don't blame you. And Durr's in the house. Craig just sent you an email. Solid gold snowflake on a bracelet. 18 karat rose gold. Yeah, I'd pass on the rose gold thing. Maybe they'll make one in yellow gold now. That would be a good move. Sounds like those idiots are liberals. Okay, Leon's in the house. Durr's hanging out. He says, one of my coworkers just tested positive for the virus, and his last day at work, we were side by side working together for about 5 hours. He's really sick and works out every day. Makes me worry a tad. I hope you're not sick, Durr. I hope you didn't get the thing. So, yeah. Okay. All right, let's check this email. Yeah, I wouldn't be real close to people for periods of time like that, unless there's really something in it for you. If you get my drift. I wouldn't stay like real close to anybody for a period of time unless it was extremely enjoyable. That's all I'm going to say, because this is a G-rated show here on the television. Let's see, Craig, have you checked out the newer Priuses? Yeah, I don't like the body styles on them. I don't like the new Lexuses either, and I don't like what they've done to on the front ends of the new Lexus. Like the last good Lexus LS sedan that I like is the LS 460. I think that was a good one. Okay, this is what was sent. So that one on the left is rose gold, huh? Interesting. It's interesting that they would do that. Is that a Japanese market watch? I shouldn't show his real name there. Okay. Hopefully I did that quick enough. Okay. Is that a do give us some information in the chat if that is a US market watch and what the price is on it. That'd be interesting to know. I'd like to see Grand Seiko start making more gold watches. I'd like to see them make a snowflake at about 38 mils that's got a thinner case and all yellow gold. That's what I'd like to see. I think that would be cool. That could be an all-arounder. Absolutely. Let's see. And that new watch, by the way, that Little Treasury folks put a little teaser up on this channel. That new GMT that's 40, I think it's 40.5 mils and 14.7 mils thick, the 200 meter GMT spring drive. That's such a close one, man. They got so close. Why couldn't they have made that thing trimmer? At least down to 13.5 mils. At least. I would have liked to have seen them got that thing down to. I think they should have brought it out. Here, let's design the perfect GMT. I'm cool with just about everything about that watch. I love the looks of it. I think it's gorgeous. And if they would have come out with that at the same size, 40.5 mils, at 12.5 mils thick, made it 100 meter instead of 200 meter. On the GMT, I don't need 200 meter, just like the Rolex is still 100 meter, I believe. I believe the GMT is still 100 meter. And let me think what else. I think that would do it. I think if they would take that watch, make it a 100 meter watch so that you can make it thinner, get it down to 12.5 mils, I think that would be a stunner for a sport watch. And some people could wear it as an all-arounder, just like some people wear a Rolex GMT now as an all-arounder. I think the Rolex GMT is about 12.5 mils, isn't it? What's the modern GMT? How thick is that? Rolex. That should be their target. That should be the thickness that they should target. But they're not going to consult with me. They're just going to keep rolling out watches. They're not going to ask me what I think. That's not what they're going to do. So, and occasionally they're going to roll out one that's just amazing, like the 002. And that's pretty much what they're going to do, I think. But they got that right, the 002. And I'll tell you what, this 231 does look great on wrist. But see, this is only 14.1 mils thick, I believe. So this is thinner than that new GMT, which makes sense because this doesn't have the GMT function, right? So that adds a little thickness maybe, but I digress. Okay, let's see. Craig, have you checked out the newer? Okay, I answered that. Not sure on the info on the watch. Just saw the picture. Okay, good to know. What's worse, Rolex Super Cases or Toyota Super Grills? Good question. Why would they take and just screw something up for no apparent reason? Deport TGV, that gold on it is freaking hot. Okay. They could have made it trimmer at 100 meters. Yes, I would think they could. It honestly didn't look that thick on the wrist. Yeah, it looked, that's one thing they do. See this watch? See, it sits pretty good on the wrist. They do cup the way the case back is made and the way the lugs and everything are made. It is forgiving in that way. But I would still want it to be thinner. Why not? Why not have both, right? Like the 005 laid very nice on the wrist. That's about 12.1 mils, right? So 12.5 mils would still lay very nice on the wrist. And that would be killer. We're looking for really, we're looking for them to hit it out of the park a little bit, right? We want some killer stuff. Isn't that what we're looking for? We're not looking for just good enough. We're looking for awesome. That's why we stepped up to the 002. That's why we stepped up to the 002. We're looking for awesome. Okay, let's see here. To be honest, at the prices that Rolex costs, most folks buying a Rolex are making it a daily wear watch. I'm not so sure about that. I see a lot of people buying Rolexes that are box watches that they don't wear because they don't want to scratch them. I see a lot of that. And you can tell by the comments, like in one of the forums, I think it was on Horology Talk, I posted the 002, and you know, this guy chimed in and said, oh, well, I'd be scared to wear that because it's gold. It's going to scratch up so easily and so on. And I can tell that a lot of these people have never worn high-end watches. They don't know. They don't have any clue. Because, again, I've been wearing the gold watches for 40 years, and they hold up great. So I'm guessing that none of these people have worn 18-karat gold watches on a daily basis for any period of time. So they just don't even know, right? And so that might be the situation that we're dealing with, is they just don't wear these watches. Let's see. Why is the Rolex GMT nice and trim, but the Tudor GMT Pepsi is a chunky monkey? Well, I'm sure because, again, they don't want the Tudor to be as good as Rolex because they want people to buy the Rolex. I think that's pretty simple there. That's why they make the Tudors a little bit marginal, marginal at best. GMT plus 200 meters plus spring drive equals thick watch. Okay. Leslie's in the house. My friend who works at an ice cream shop told me that her coworker tested positive for COVID, and the company made everyone take a COVID test, but everyone came back negative. Well, that's good. It was really weird because they had worked with the girl who tested positive for an entire day, and somehow no one got the virus. Well, I mean, if you're not touching them or touching or really close to them for a period of time, if you're just like in passing, like if you work with somebody but you're not like right next to them for a while, you're probably going to be okay, especially if you're young and you have a strong immune system, right? Younger folks tend to fare pretty good. So I'm not surprised. Let's see. Craig, do you think good price will stay above 2K, or will they be coming down soon? Do you think, wait, what are we talking about that's above 2K? Do tell me what we're talking about. I don't understand what we're talking about here. Leon says, well, those Rolex wearers are idiots. I did not buy my sub or my Orchard Patrol 36 to let it sit in the box because I'm afraid of wear and tear. Well, I mean, a lot of them are looking at the watches as investments that they want to resell at some point. And that, if they do get wear and tear on it, scratches and all that, is definitely going to affect the resale value, right? So there's that. Of course, I think it's silly to invest in a watch. I think there are much better things to invest money in. But that's just me. Eduardo's in the house, and he says I agree with Leon. The Portuguese TV, Craig, I was watching one of your old videos, and the Omega Seamaster was visible in the watch box background, and I have to say the dial contrast on it looked atrocious. Okay. Yeah, all those watches in that box have been sold. They're all gone. So there you go. All the watches that I tested and reviewed over the years, most of them just did not hold up, did not suffice, if you will. I mean, I tried. I tried the affordable watch thing, right? I bought various watches and tried them and tested them and so on. And most of them just didn't pass the test, if you will. Did not hold up under scrutiny. So most of those are gone. Now, I did wear the Seamaster 120, the Omega, for a couple of years. I wore that for a couple of years in rotation with the Date 8. And it was okay. It was all right. But it went down the road, too, so that tells you something. If they go down the road, it tells you something. Let's see. Eduardo's in the house. The new old stock condition oyster perpetual date I bought has some scratches now. I was talking about the gold pieces. Sorry. Okay. There you go. Yeah, I mean, gold, yeah, of course it's going to get some little things here and there. And you can see down at 6 o'clock, there's a little tiny scratch on the bezel there. See that little tiny mark? That's there. I mean, it's there. And it'll get some more. There'll be some more over time. But it will still look stunning. Even as it gets a patina, it will still, trust me, it will still look stunning. That's what gold does. I mean, my old wedding ring has all kinds of patina on it, right? From being worn a lot. And it still looks great. It's still 18 karat gold, still looks great. I mean, that's the thing about gold. It can get beat up pretty bad, and it's still going to look great, right? Not the same thing for steel. Steel that gets beat up just looks like beat up steel. It doesn't look great, right? Gold looks great. So that's the difference between gold and steel, folks. Just a little thing. By the way, speaking of quality, made in USA items, ha ha ha, timeless razors, timeless razors, timeless razors, absolutely. Now, this is not the one that I shave with every day. I generally use the titanium one. But the stainless steel one here is also fantastic with the long handle. Also fantastic. Let's see. Eduardo says, Craig, I meant the gold prices. Will they go up or down? Oh, it's been peaking at... I'm not I wouldn't buy much more gold. I've got gold and I've got platinum, and it may go up, but I think the upside potential, and again, I don't try to give financial advice on this channel, but I think the upside potential of Bitcoin is significantly higher than the upside potential of gold. That's my personal opinion. And that's where I am. And it looks like Bitcoin is at just under $11,900, $11,887. It looks like that's, I'm refreshing my screen here to see what, yeah. So Bitcoin right now is at 11,887. I bought back my Bitcoin. My Bitcoin Trust, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC is the symbol. I sold it the other day at 14.75, and then I bought it back at 14, and I've got another sell order in at 14.75. So if it goes back up to 14.75, I'm going to sell again, and then I'll probably buy it back again. It's in a trading range here, so I'm just going to try to in and out. Pick up some money each time and see how that goes for a while. because I don't mind if I miss the big run up in GBTC. In other words, if I sell it at 14.75 and I miss my guess and it doesn't come back down for me to rebuy it again, but it takes off, I don't mind letting it go, and I'll stay in cash with that money. I don't mind taking that chance because that's not my main Bitcoin holding. My main Bitcoin holdings are my actual Bitcoin, not the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. The only reason I buy the Bitcoin Trust is because I can buy it in my Roth IRA, and so I can get in and out and, make a profit and not have to pay any capital gains on it, right? So that's what's cool about that, with playing around with that. And I've done that several times now, in and out of GBTC, making a nice lick each time. And because of the volatility, right? Because of the up and down, you can do that. Deport TGV 2020 is in the house. Eric just released a video about his new Rolex Presidential in Platinum. Can't wait for Craig's roast video of it. I probably won't do a roast video of it. By the way, it's not a Rolex Presidential. It's a Rolex Day-Date. It's got the President bracelet. So officially, as far as I know, Rolex has never called the Day-Date the Presidential. As far as I know, it's a Rolex Day-Date with a President bracelet. But maybe they've changed. But officially, I think it's called the Day-Date. But in any event, I have nothing really against the Day-Date in Platinum. I think it's awesome. I think it's a cool-looking watch. I wouldn't buy it because it's too heavy on wrist. And why in the hell would I buy something that looks like stainless steel to most people? Why would I just not buy a yellow gold one? I mean, it makes no sense. So yeah, that's a pass. I'd take a pass on that. Let's see. Lance says sent an email. Okay, we'll take a look. Apple hit an all-time high today at 473.10. Sold too soon. Yes, I shouldn't have sold my Apple. I should have kept my Apple stock. But I've done really good on my GBTC also, so I can't complain. I can't complain. So, okay, let's take a look at this other thing. Oh, yeah, I guess so. I guess, oh, come on. I hate these pop-ups. I guess so. Wow. Wow. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. Oh, you can't toggle from photo to photo. You got to go down here and click. It's kind of ghetto setup. See, that would be nice and flat on the wrist. And I don't mind the drilled lugs, right? And that way you can also tell if it's been polished too much. There we go. See how the side of that case is? See how classy they used to be back in the old days when they had a nice flowing case, nice and trim. See how much nicer looking that is than a super case? Even the super cases on the GMTs are not as good as they used to be in the old days, in my opinion. I think that's a gorgeous side view of that case. And see, that's going to have micro adjustments. The only issue is these things often have a fair amount of bracelet stretch in that gold jubilee. That's the only issue there. So let's see. Platinum and smooth bezel, Craig would not approve. Yeah, it would. I just think that kind of money can be spent a little more wisely. Let's see, the ice blue dials on platinum Rolex models look similar to the, yeah. And here's the thing, also, RWAGs, with the Apple stock and some of these companies like Amazon that have been doing really good. I mean, it's such a shame because they're doing good at the cost of a lot of their competition that has been clear-cut and destroyed by all these lockdowns and everything. And that's what's sad about all that is, the others are suffering to allow these other companies to benefit. It's very, very sad situation. You know, people have a certain amount of money to spend, and if certain retailers are open and allowed to stay in business, in other words, Apple, you just go to apple.com, buy stuff, right? And they can't go to all these other businesses that are closed. So all that money has to funnel into somebody, right? So it's going to funnel into Home Depot. It's going to funnel into Lowe's. It's going to funnel into Amazon. It's going to funnel into Apple at the cost of all these little guys that, you know, are just shut freaking down. So anyway, don't get me started on all that. The ice blue dials on the platinum Rolex. Yeah, that I like the dial. The dial looks pretty awesome. Yeah, on those platinum on the platinum day date. So Paul, the platinum day date is very cool, especially with the blued hands. It weighs so much, but I prefer the fluted bezel as well. Yeah, evidently they claimed that they couldn't do the fluted bezel on that because the platinum's too hard to work with. That's kind of bizarre, but maybe that's true. Platinum is much harder, right, than gold, and harder to work with. So maybe that's the case. I don't think they've ever made platinum day date with a fluted bezel, and that could be the reason. So there you go. Chip, I remember Bill Cosby wearing a Rolex day date on his show. The watch seems to sparkle and glisten much more than a stainless steel. Is that true, since I don't remember seeing one in person? Wearing a Rolex day date on... Are you talking about platinum? A platinum day date? I think they do have a little more presence to them on wrist. Yeah, I think they do have a little more. I think they do look a little richer. I think if people know what they're looking for, I think they can tell platinum when they see it. And yeah, I think it might play with the light a little more. But again, it's not even going to come close, in my opinion, to a yellow gold day date, to the presence that has on wrist. So I would stick with the yellow, the tried and true yellow gold day date. Lance is in the house. Craig, would you buy another stainless steel watch or just stick with titanium yellow gold? That's a good question. Probably I would not buy another stainless steel watch. I don't really see a reason to. I don't see an upside to it. David's in the house. The market is being driven by narrow set of stocks, not long-term sustainable. Okay, we'll see how all that works out. Deport TGV is in the house. A lot businesses in Los Angeles were killed off by the city's shutdown order, reopening, and then sudden re-shutdown order. Yeah, the shutdowns will probably be over with come the election. That'll all be over with because it's all politics, right? The Democrats are trying to keep everything shut down as much as possible and blame it all on Trump so that they can win the election. And once the election's over with, I'm sure all those shutdowns will be over with as well, because the thing is pretty much a non-issue right now. So, yeah. What was it? In New York, they had 0 deaths like yesterday, like 0 deaths the day before. I mean, they're down to like no deaths from this thing, right? And yet they still have everything closed down. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's absolutely no reason. Because first of all, the shutdowns didn't help anything. The data is very mixed at best as to whether or not the shutdowns helped anything at all. Matter of fact, there's a lot of data out there that shows that they cause more harm than good. So there is no valid reason to have the shutdowns, especially schools. It's absolutely ridiculous. So obviously, it's all politics. So Triforce Rich is in the house. Even white gold looks different to steel in the flesh. If you get it in certain lighting, it glows yellowish. I wore my brother-in-law's white gold day date, and it's definitely not steel. Yeah, I had a white gold day date, and it did look better. It did look better than a steel watch, but still not like yellow gold. I mean, it's not even a close call. Yellow gold is like amazing. Now, yellow gold, like if you look at that right there, it's not over the top. It's just real classy looking. Whereas you get like rose gold or something, that can be a little bit over the top, right? But yellow gold has just a more of a classic gold, glow to it. that is just eat completely up with class and style and looks great every time it's tried. Every time it's tried, it looks great. They're afraid of a second wave. Yeah, I mean, it's just insane. It's just totally insane. The thing is burned through New York. It has killed everybody it's going to kill. I mean, they slaughtered those who are most at risk, right? They took people that were infected and put them into the nursing homes to infect everybody else, and basically slaughtered everybody that was going to die from it. That ship has sailed. It's time to close the gate. The horse is already out. And they act like, oh, they're doing such a good job in New York. They've got deaths down to where we have no deaths anymore. Well, yeah, everybody's been killed. All the susceptible people have already died, right? More people died there than anywhere. It's like 3 times as many people died in New York as have died in Florida, right? 3 times as many. It's not even a close call. And Florida has the same population as New York, right? They both have the same population. And 3 times as many people died in New York. They did such a great job, right? They did a fantastic job. That governor is just amazing. He like walks on water. Slaughtered them all. Let's see here. I could care less about the people knowing how expensive my watch is. I don't need yellow gold to make a statement. The O2 says I'm classy, but a day-date can implicate a lot of negative things. Well, it depends on how you wear the day-date. If you're well-dressed and you're not like overly flashy with it and stuff, I think the day-date is fine. But yeah, obviously you can be tacky about it. You can, obviously, yeah. But I think you can understate it. And again, the way I always handled it, if anybody asked me about the watch, I would always say, oh yeah, I like it. I said, yeah, it was a gift, right? Just tell them it was a gift, just straight up, right? And then that diffuses the situation, right? It's not like you went out and bought this ostentatious thing, right? Somebody gifted it to you, right? So it takes away that argument from them that you were being frivolous, right? Somebody cared about you enough to gift it to you. Let's see, yellow gold day-date equals used car salesman watch that is doing better than the other used car salesman that wears a sub. Yeah, you got to be at the top of your game. Yep, that's right. That's why I wore a day-date. You got to be up there, absolutely. And the customers want to deal with the successful salesperson. Believe it or not, they would rather buy a car from the most successful salesperson there at the dealership if they have their druthers, right? They would choose to deal with the successful salesperson, even if they think they might end up paying more money, right? Just psychologically, they want to deal with the successful salesperson. So that it snowballs on itself, right? It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, if you will. Let's see. I think a full gold Submariner is over the top. A day-date is pure class. Yeah, I think the day-date is probably the way to go between those two. Absolutely. Deport TGV says, Craig, did your buddy watch yesterday's show? You roasted him pretty hard. Which one did I roast? I forget now. I forget which one I roasted. I got a couple of buddies that I could roast. I got the one that's trying to put some things on eBay. Jeez, talk about a disaster. Oh boy, talk about a disaster. He couldn't even remember his email address to log in, right? He only has one email address, mind you, but he couldn't remember what it was. So that's how we started that whole situation. Jaden, come to California and you'll lose the image of class. The majority wear day-date 40s, day-date 2s, and it's worn by a ton of nouveau riche with extremely questionable taste and usually badly dressed. I wouldn't be surprised. Jaden's in the house. Haha, I guess I'm stuck here in Pennsylvania. It's a little different. Most day-date wearers are terribly dressed today. They don't all look like you, Craig. Those days are long gone. Hey, there were a lot of people well-dressed at Steve's events. There were a lot of well-dressed people at Steve's events. A lot of the places I go, the events I go to and stuff, there's well-dressed people. It just you just have to be, you just have to hang around with the right crowd, folks. That's how that works. Let's see here. Craig, is a two-tone Submariner a landlord watch? But could be. It could be. Let's see. Triforce Rich, the majority of new Date 836 owners are women now, at least over here. You still have the older guys wearing 36s, and it looks a lot better. Yep. Yeah, the 36 Date 836 is fantastic. Triforce Rich is in the house. The vast majority of old men wearing Rolex, though, are still rocking the classic two-tone date chest with the champagne dial. Definition of old man, regardless of race, white, Chinese, Middle East. Yeah, and the ones that can't afford the Date 8, they go for the steel and gold, absolutely. But that's the only reason why is because they can't swing the all gold. It's the only reason to buy the steel and gold, to tell you the truth. Let's see, Cheetown's in the house. Most people are terribly dressed, period, regardless of whether they have a Date 8. There you go. Which is good, right? They've lowered the bar for us. I can wear, and by the way, the reason I put on the Brooks Brothers shirt is because, remember, we were talking about the Made in USA, Made in Canada, the Tilley hats that used to be made in Canada, and they bragged about it and everything, that these are made in Canada. And now, of course, they're making some of them in China. And this shirt here was made in the United States of America, Brooks Brothers. And, of course, now all their polo shirts, I believe, are made overseas somewhere. Probably a lot of them in China. It's very sad. Very, very sad situation, folks. Very sad. Jaden's in the house, 63. Let's see. Trevor's Rich at Jaden. How old was he, Jaden? My old boss dressed custom made, wore a bluesy and a Date 836, makes about $4 million a year. There you go. He can afford a Date 8. Our Wags is in the house. When I'm wearing my gold Date 8, I'm generally wearing long sleeve dress shirts. The watch is pretty well hidden. You can wear one in a humble way and not shove it. Yeah, that's the way to wear it. And usually with the cuff, depending on how you're holding your hands or whatever, if they look up inside the cuff, they can see that touch of gold up in there. And it's just very subtle, but it tells them that you've got your act together and that you know what the freaking heck you're doing, and they feel comfortable doing business with you. And I met our Wags briefly at Steve's event, and I just in a very short order, you get the impression when you meet him that he's a professional, that he knows what he's doing, he's on top of his game, and that's what you need in the business world when you're out and about doing deals. Is you want people to have confidence in you, that you know what the heck you're doing, and that all those little details, all that helps. Absolutely, it helps. I have a watch made in Manchester with I guess that's a champagne supernova dial. Okay. Jaden V, my point, Jaden, the young wearers of the watch are not even in the same demographic or class. It's now more hip hop and wealth than well-dressed businessman. Okay. It would be interesting to know. It would be interesting to know who's generally buying those watches, because I bet you a lot of people buy Rolexes that you never even hear about in the forums or anything. They just walk in, they want a nice watch, and they buy a Rolex, and that's it. And they're not into any of the watch forums or anything like that, and you would never even know that they have a Date 8. I bet you that's a lot of the sales. Be interesting to know, though. Let's see. I'm a cheapskate with watches. I have a $35 stainless steel gold-colored watch with a Chinese dragon on it. Love it, though. There you go. Okay. If it works for you. Kyle says, Craig, what would you take to wear, not resell, between the new GMT or a Batgirl? We're talking about the GMT that's a spring drive that they just released. Well, if I had to wear the watch all the time as a one-watch solution, I would have to take the back coil because I think the GMT is too thick for me to wear as an all-arounder. Now, if it was a sport watch to rotate with the 002 stunner, I would probably take the spring drive just for the accuracy and all those attributes, right? So it depends on your question. If your question is like, if I had to wear it all the time, I think I'd have to take the Rolex because it's probably thin enough to slip under a dress cuff, right? Whereas the spring drive would definitely not be, in my opinion, not for me at least. So there's a kind of a two-pointed question. Have we determined how thick is the back girl? How thick is the new Rolex GMT back girl? Does anybody know the actual thickness? Cheetown's in the house. Dates have been wrapper watches since the 90s. Then it was Royal Oaks in the 2000s. Now it's the steel Nautilus covered in diamonds. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the silliness? Triforce Rich, I live in a wealthy wearer with tons of Rolex wearers. If you want to know the demographic of a specific model, just ask. I'm sure Kyle would chip in as well. There you go. Yeah, but that's just in your certain area, right? That's not like all over the country. This is a big country. Lance says, sent a photo of a rare Milgauss. Okay, we'll take a look. Yeah, going back to my old, he had no idea what the name of his watches were. He just knew they were Rolexes. Yeah, your old boss. Yeah, he just went in and bought a watch. Okay, let me check the email here. By the way, Steve has claimed he's going to do a show tomorrow. I hope he does. I hope he does, because we miss him, don't we? Don't we miss the Stevester? Don't we miss the Stevester? Here's that Milgauss. That is an unusual piece that Lance sent over. Interesting. 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess 6. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. So, yeah, wealthy area. I thought you were saying that. Trevor says, please profile a Panda Daytona owner. I've traveled around the world, North America, Europe, Asia, Middle East. Just ask. I've seen it all. LOL. There you go. Yeah, but there's always small town USA, right? Like here in Frederick, Maryland, I bet most people that go into Colonial Jewelers to buy a Rolex, I bet most of them are not really, quote, watch people, right? I think they're just want a nice watch, right? And they know that they're a Rolex dealer, and they go in and they pick the watch they want, and they get it, and they wear it, and it's not a big deal, right? They don't make a big deal out of it. I think that's in a lot of the flyover country, right? That's probably the way it goes down. Let's see. Where the Middle East countries where I guess he means where are the Middle East countries where you were in the continent of Africa? Okay, anyway, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking there. Okay, Jaden, he once told me they don't need batteries, you just have to shake them hard. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What's your continent count? Okay. Cheetown, California. Generally a lower upper class professional in his 40s to 50s, definitely well off, but not necessarily a huge watch lover as much as his casual watch fan that knows that Daytona is hot. Okay. I live in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Trump is here today. Oh, boy. All right, there you go. Starting to sound like Corey Wilson. Okay. Corey, the guy that got banned yesterday. Did we actually ban him, or did we Did we actually ban him? I guess I did, and so that he would make another account, to challenge him to make another account. Triforce Rich Kyle Jet. Never been to Africa, but will make my way to Egypt soon enough. There you go. Most Rolex owners nowadays don't know anything about watches, and Rolex isn't targeting enthusiasts. Just look at how Rolex services watches. Bring it in when it stops ticking. Not sure what you mean by that. Craig, you banned him yourself. Yeah, I think I remember that was a challenge, right? I said, let's see how long it takes him to make another account, right? So, yeah. There you go. All right. Hey, we're going to wrap this early because I started early. And so we're going to wrap this early. And I haven't seen the lovely Lady Brianna, so I'm not going to show her website. How's that? I think I did put the link to it in the description. All right, I'll show her website. What the heck? I'll show her website. briefitdance.com, even though she didn't pop in. She did call me earlier on the phone, and we had a nice chat. So I'll show her website, briefitdance.com, briefitdance.com. Go in there and click subscribe and all of that good stuff. Follow her on social media. Click subscribe. We got to make up for that guy that unsubscribed, right? So you got to subscribe to this channel. Click the little bell, all that kind of good stuff. Let's see. You get the rich guy in his 30s who are self-made or family money. You're usually a bigger enthusiast, or at least they are aware of Royal Oaks, Nautilus, and Hot Rolex steel. I've met a couple. There you go. Wait. Derek says, wait. We talked about day dates, Derek. We talked about them extensively today, so you can't complain. Cheatown's in the house. What I'm saying is Rolex doesn't expect their owners to know about each little part wearing out, so they do a big overhaul, not expecting their owners to baby the movements. Of course they're not. Yeah, of course they're not. That's why they do flat rate service, and they just take the whole thing apart and just renew the whole watch. At vast cost, I might add. Derek's in the house. I just got in. Oh, God, no, says Derek. Craig, I'm at the mechanics, and my phone is going to die. I'm going to have to read a book soon. Uh-oh, that's not good. Lance is in the house. All the Rolex ADs only have the trendy rose gold watches and don't have any of the classic Rolexes like the yellow gold, Date 8, and Submariner. Well, they usually have a Date 8. That's interesting. If they're sold out of Date 8s now, it must be because I've been talking about them so much. Derek says, I need a little more time here. Okay. Triforce Rich says, which demographic of Rolex owners have you found to be the most obnoxious? All right, folks. Any questions? Get them in the chat. Get them in the chat. Okay. The people I look down on the most in terms of Rolex are the people who bought a Hulk post-2018 for over retail. Hyped up douchebags. You could buy it for years under list. Okay, Derek's in the house. My liberal neighbor wants to drink a beer with me. I need excuses. Oh, boy. Let's see. You have to be a special kind of obnoxious to pay over retail for a Hulk. Let's see. Cheetown, California, most obnoxious Rolex owners are going to be the full precious metal sports wearers. Okay. And Clive says Trump in 2020. The Clivester. It's probably an artificial Clivester. It's probably not the real Clivester. So what do you guys think? Do you think Trump's going to be able to pull it out? I mean, they're really, really attacking him. They're attacking him big time, right? These radical left wingers, right? They're really attacking the Trumpster. What do you think? Do you think he's going to be able to hang in there? What do you guys think? I don't care less because I've got Bitcoin. I stepped outside of all this whole thing. That's why I bought Bitcoin. None of them can control that. The Democrats, Republicans, none of them can control that. It's out of their hands. Here's this ugly piece we looked at yesterday. I'm going to get rid of this. I didn't like the case on that. We'll get rid of that. And here's another piece we showed. I'll get rid of that. There's a really ugly piece we showed. Get rid of that. And that piece is all right. All right, but I'll get rid of that for now. And this one, I think this one's a little bit too old. I think it's got some issues. We'll get rid of that for now. And I'm not in the rose gold camp, so we'll get rid of that. We'll keep that one at tab open. What was this one here? Yeah, well, that was the other day show. And this we just looked at. Okay. So there we go. We're up to speed on all that. Biden is calling for masks countrywide. Can you imagine? The damn thing is pretty much over with, right? I mean, these clowns. I saw a picture of him and his vice president. They were walking side by side. They walked out somewhere. They both had masks on. They look so silly. I mean, and all these people on Facebook, they all changed their profile pics to where they all have masks on, right? All these doom and gloomers. It's so freaking sad. But I have to laugh. I have to laugh. It's sad. It really is, but I have to laugh. I mean, geez. Why can't they just go on about their life? Well, it's about the election. They got to win the election. The only way they can win the election is if they shut everything down and blame it all on Trump. That's the only way they can win. That's the only way they think they can win is blame it all on him. Blame all the deaths on him, even though most of them happened in blue states. Blame it all on him. That's their game plan, and let's see if they can pull it off. See if people are stupid enough to go along with all that. Let's see. Clive says, I was liberal until I found the light. See, I don't think that's the real Clive, so that's how that works out. Same with the white gold non-meteorite Pepsi. Tim says, as an outsider, I could not see the Democrats talk about any policy or what vision they have for the future. Well, I mean, I think their vision is pretty clear. They're going to shut everything down. They're going to tax and spend, tax and spend, tax and spend some more. I think that's pretty much what they're going to do. Let's see. Clive says the dog man straightened me out. Okay. Can't wait to enter the real world one of these days. Jeepoo. G-Town says, Craig, I've heard the dog trainer is planning on liquidating some steel sports Rolexes into a full yellow gold sub. That would be a good plan. I'd get out while the getting is good, you know. And Clive said, it's me, Craig. I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that. If it's really you, okay, this is how you can prove it's you. Send a text message to me right now. Send me a text message, and then that guarantees it's you. Otherwise, it ain't you. The poor TGV says Clive is a filthy liberal. And Bree's in the house. Good evening, all. Oh, Bree, I did show your website earlier because I said nice things about you, and I did show your website. Even though you're late popping in, I did show your website. So there you go. And I did put your link. I think I put your link in the description. Triforce Rich is in the house. Cheetown, California, I thought he wanted a Smurf. Let's see. Cryptocurrency. This could lead to a total loss and pushing BTC into insignificance. What's your thoughts on that scenario? Are you talking about altcoins? Altcoins are a dime a dozen. There's like 10,000 of them. There's one Bitcoin, and then there's 10,000 altcoins. I'd rather have the Bitcoin. That's the way I'm going. I'm going with the one Bitcoin. Other people buy all these altcoins, right? There's thousands and thousands of them. They come and go, you know, over time. Eventually, all altcoins will fail, right? So, yeah, I'll go with the winner. I'll go with Bitcoin. Pick the winning horse, right? Pick the horse that's going to win the race. Don't pick the wannabes. That's how I say it. That's how I say it there. Let's see. Okay. Clive says, I could Skype in, but I don't have Skype. Yeah, well, the fake Skype would know. The fake Clive would know that because I already mentioned that. So he's probably the fake Clive because, see, he hasn't texted me. I've got my phone sitting right here. He didn't text me, so it's the fake Clive. Try first, Rich. The person I look down on the most is the full yellow gold Yachtmaster 2. Oh, yeah, the Yachtmaster 2. I'd pass on that. The Yachtmaster would be a good move. It would be a good move. Cheetown, try first, Rich. I heard him say the white gold Smurf didn't have that F-off factor. Kyle Jet's in the house. Rich is pretty close to right on with that assessment. Okay, I'm the victim. Hi, Craig. Have you seen Cuties on Netflix yet? You would love it. No, I haven't. No, I haven't seen it. Let's see. Brief Fit Dance is in the house. Oh, by the way, Ocean's 14 is on Netflix. If any of you haven't seen it yet. Ocean's 14. Cool movie. In case you haven't seen that one yet. And Bree says, thank you. Busy with my activities. All right. Well, get her done, Bree. Get her done. And the Yellow Gold Yachtmaster 2 is the Invicta of Rolexes. Steph S. says, sorry, Craig, there was a message before I had to split into two messages. Okay, I'm not sure what that all means. The dog man should invest in halfway decent clothes before a gold Rolex. That's a good point. I love that series. It's so cute. Okay. Triforce Rich, Cheetown, California. I'd rather have Craig's net worth as an F-off factor than a 30K Rolex that is worth less than Craig's furniture. Oh, geez. That's something. That's saying something there. Okay. Clive, remind me your number, Craig. I just got a new drone. Yeah, right. A droid. Right. That's what we call the fake Clivester. He doesn't have my number because he's not the real Clivester. Let's see. Bold sign. I can't stand the dims. Too many snowflakes. Craig, will Ethereum recover? Yeah, I would not buy Ethereum. That's an altcoin. I don't mess with altcoins. Second tier, man. Go first tier. Go Bitcoin. Not financial advice, but that's what I do. I stick with Bitcoin. Craig, have you seen the movie Sandpiper? I don't know. I don't remember. Don't think so. Craig, have you seen Catch Me If You Can? Yeah, that's a good one. All right. On that note, we are going to wrap it up. Clive, Skype into the show. Can you? He can't because he's not the real Clivester. He's not the real Clivester. Derek says, keep it going a bit longer, Craig. We talked about day dates up one side and down the other. Look at this stunner here, though. We talked about that, too. All right. Oh, speaking of stunners, let's show Brianna one more time, for gosh sakes. There's Brianna, the lovely Bree. Subscribe. Do all that stuff. Subscribe. And we will see you guys next time.